The moment firefighter Jack Monroe heard the call come through his radio, he knew it was bad. 5-alarm fire at the Westwood Tower. Reports of a civilian trapped on the top floor. No movement detected. Westwood Tower was one of the tallest buildings in the city, home to a dozen corporate offices. Fires in high-rises were a firefighter's nightmare, smoke spread fast, stairwells became death traps, and rescues were near impossible. But Jack didn't hesitate. He and his team raced to the scene, sirens wailing, hearts pounding. By the time they arrived, flames had already swallowed the lower floors, thick black smoke curling into the night sky. People had evacuated in a frenzy, but someone was still inside. The dispatcher confirmed that a woman was trapped on the 35th floor, the CEO of some big company. That didn't matter to Jack. A life was a life. "Captain, I'm going in," Jack said, gripping his helmet. "Monroe, the fire's spreading fast," his captain warned. "If you don't get out in 5 minutes." "I'll get out," Jack cut in, already moving. With an axe in one hand and a hose slung over his shoulder, Jack charged into the inferno. Heat pressed against his gear, smoke filled his lungs despite the oxygen mask. The stairwell was barely holding, flames licking at the walls. Step by step, he pushed forward. By the time he reached the 35th floor, his muscles burned, his vision blurred. The sprinklers had failed, and fire roared from every direction. Then he saw her, a woman slumped near a shattered window, coughing violently. Jack rushed forward, dropping to his knees. "Ma'am. Can you hear me?" Her head lifted weakly, revealing striking blue eyes, familiar eyes. Jack's heart slammed against his ribs. His pulse drowned out the sound of crackling fire. It was her. The woman he had once loved. The woman who had walked away from him 10 years ago. Emily Carter. The name hit him like a freight train. They had been college sweethearts, inseparable, dreaming of a future together. But then Emily had been offered a life-changing opportunity, a fast-track corporate job in New York. Jack had begged her to stay, to build a life with him, but she had chosen her career. And now, after all these years, he found her here, on the brink of death. She blinked at him through the haze of smoke. "Jack." "No time for that now," he said, hoisting her into his arms. "We're getting out of here." Emily coughed violently, gripping his jacket. "You shouldn't have come. Too late for that." Flames surged behind them, cutting off the route he had come from. The stairwell was gone. The only way was forward. Jack scanned the floor, looking for an escape. Then he saw it, a maintenance ladder leading to the rooftop. "We have to climb," he told her. Emily was barely conscious. He knew she wouldn't make it up alone. So, he did the only thing he could. He strapped her to him with his rescue harness and started climbing with one hand. The heat was unbearable. Sweat dripped into his eyes. The ladder groaned under their weight. Just a little more. Flames chased them, reaching hungrily. Jack pushed through, lungs screaming. Then, fresh air. The rooftop. Gasping, he stumbled onto solid ground. The night sky spread above them, cool air washing over his blistered skin. But there was no time to rest. The building was seconds from collapsing. He grabbed his radio. "Captain, I'm on the roof. I have the victim. Hold tight. Chopper's coming." Emily stirred in his arms, eyes fluttering open. "Jack," she whispered. "I'm sorry." Jack's throat tightened. He wanted to say so many things. That he had missed her. That he had spent years wondering why. But now wasn't the time. "Save your strength," he said instead. A helicopter appeared above, ropes lowering. The team pulled Emily up first, then Jack. The moment they were safely in the chopper, the building gave a final, shuddering groan, then crumbled into an inferno of steel and glass. Jack barely breathed as he looked down at the destruction. He had made it. They had made it. As medics checked her over, Emily reached for his hand. "You saved my life." Jack exhaled. "Yeah. I guess we're even now." Tears welled in her eyes. "I left all those years ago because I thought I had to choose, but I never stopped loving you." His heart clenched. He had spent years trying to forget her, but deep down, he had never stopped loving her either. For the first time in a decade, Jack allowed himself to hope. Maybe, just maybe, fate had given them a second chance.